Hi, welcome back to How to Break Barriers. I'm Carole Nelson Pond and this is my channel. I started this channel after I had written a book called No Women Allowed with the subtitle Breaking Barriers. In the book, I gave examples of the barriers that I had to face when I was trying to get a career in television, when no women were allowed in TV news and radio and television talk, no women there either. I was successful in both of those fields, and so in the book I talked about what those incidents were and my tips for breaking through them. I didn't break through all of them, but telling you what I did break through. The second phase of my plan, which is now in operation, is breaking barriers and hearing from you. What are the barriers in your life? What have they been? Which ones have you successfully handled and which ones have just hurt you to the core? All of this, and then what happens but COVID-19? I didn't even have that in mind when I started this channel, but here it is. And we're all facing barriers we never thought we would think a year ago. Did we ever think that we would be in this position? So we're all facing those new barriers, and I want to find out from you what your barriers are. How are you dealing with them? That's health, that's finances, that's job, whatever. This is a forum for me and you to discuss all of this. I think one of the most difficult, absolutely difficult bridges to break is when something happens all of a sudden, out of the blue, there it is, and you are not prepared for it. That's the tough one. No time to analyze, no time to just do anything but bingo, make a decision right there. That happened for me for the first time when I was in radio news. I went to cover a story in downtown Orlando. I had my microphone, I had my tape recorder, and there I was, ready to cover this story on the expansion of the Citrus Bowl in a little building where a meeting was being held on the bonds that they were going to need to float in order to expand the Citrus Bowl. So I show up there, and the other TV reporters are there, and the cameramen, and why are they hanging around? I get to the front door, and I find out. They want to see what I'm going to do. There's a waitress at the front door, and she crosses her arms, and she says, "No women allowed. There are no women allowed in this building. I'm there to cover a story, and I'm going to cover it." So that's when I made that sudden decision. And I'm sure you've been in that position too, where you've suddenly had to decide what you're going to do. So at that point, I said, out of my way. And I just pushed her gently aside. And I walked to the back of the building where the meeting was being held. They were not going to let me cover the story. The chairman walked around and said, "I'm sorry, I didn't know that women were going to be here for this." I said, "Well, you're going to have to kick me out," which he did, and I interviewed him on the way out, and it became a national story. Female reporter kicked out of club. Now, there have been other instances when I've suddenly had to face a barrier and I really wasn't prepared for it. And maybe I made the wrong decision, but I think I made the right decision that day. So, what are your barriers right now? This is tough because so many of us are alone. We're sequestered, we're quarantined, we're whatever you want to call it, and it's tough. So, let me hear from you. Comments, questions, whatever, and I will continue to post a couple of posts every week. You will see at the bottom the link to the book on Amazon, No Women Allowed, as well as this particular channel because you may not find your way back. And if you like what I'm posting, please subscribe. I'd love to have you on board. Thanks.